in this video I'm going to be using Billy Bag Factory 9mm braided cotton cord, and this is in vanilla. I'm also going to be using the Furls Crochet 9mm hook. I like using a 9mm hook with 9mm cord, as I find it gives you a nice tight stitch and helps you get a more uniform look with your basket. You can go up a size in your hook when you're making baskets, but your stitches will get looser, and I personally don't think that they have as nice an appearance as if you use a 9mm hook with it. I'm also going to be using this plywood crochet base. The holes in this are 10mm wide and spaced 10mm apart. I always recommend this when you're using 9mm cord, as it gives your stitches a nicer appearance. If you want to see how to crochet onto a wooden base and do your single stitches around, I have another video for that, which I've linked below. So with your waistcoat stitch, this is also known as a knit stitch in crochet, you are going to be going through the V that you've created from your single crochet on that first round there. And this is how it's going to appear. So you're going to be going through the V and through these two legs. And I'll put that through there so you can see. So that is where we're going to be going. So put your loop on the hook and crochet hook through the V for your single crochet. Yarn over, pull through a loop. You're pulling it up so that it's at the same level as your loop before. Yarn over and pull through two. I'll show you that again. So you're going through the V. It's very obvious in this stage because we're on the base stage, but I'll do the next row as well so you can see. So you're going through that big V and those two legs there. What you're not doing is a standard single crochet for your next round. So with your single crochet, you go under the front and the back loop of each stitch, yarn over, pull through a loop, yarn over and pull through two. You can see the difference there in the stitches straight away. So this is the part that you would have gone through, but instead you've done a single standard crochet, which is why you've got this little stitch here and then this big hole. If you do that the full way round, it's just going to be full of holes and not hold the structure to the sides. I'm just going to finish this row and I'll show you what to do when you're on your next row, when you're not going through a single crochet, but instead you're going through the waistcoat stitch. When you're joining the end of your round to the start of the new round, you're not going to do any slip stitches to join. I'm going to show you how to do an invisible join for this stitch, so you will not be able to tell where the start and finish of it is. So you're going to pull up a loop from your working yarn, about 3 finger breadths long. You're then going to get your crochet hook and put it through the back and front loop of the first stitch of that round that you've just completed, from back to front. You're then going to grab your loop at the front and pull it through to the back. You're then going to get your hook and go through the V stitch, so your waistcoat stitch of the first stitch of the previous round. Yarn over and pull through a loop. So you have a loop at the front and a loop at the back. You're then going to have the front loop on your hook and put your hook through the back loop like that. Yarn over and pull through 2. That is the first stitch of your next round completed, and your front invisible join. I'm going to show you that one again. So again, you're working yarn, you're going to pull up a loop from the last stitch that you've just completed. Put your crochet hook through the back and front loop from back to front. Pull the loop through from the front of your basket to the back of your basket. Remove your hook and then put your hook through the waistcoat stitch of the first stitch of your previous round. So it comes through to the back. Yarn over your working yarn. Pull through a loop. And put the back loop back on your hook, so you have 2 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through your loop. So now that you've completed your invisible join, you're going to continue on doing your waistcoat stitches through the full basket. So again, you're going through the V of the stitch that you've created in the previous row and through the 2 pieces of yarn that you see there. So put your loop back on your hook and put your crochet hook through to the back. Yarn over, pull through a loop, 2 loops on your hook, bring the yarn up tension wise to where the previous loop is. You don't want to go any higher. Yarn over and pull through a loop. Now when you're doing a little basket like this, your tension doesn't need to be extremely tight. If you're making a bigger project like the Moses basket, you definitely need to have extremely tight tension in order for it to hold its shape. So in order to do this, again, you're putting your hook through the V, yarning over and pulling through a loop, pulling it up, same tension as the loop already on your hook, yarning over, and you're pulling this tail quite tight as you're doing it. Yarn over, keeping your tension tight on your tail, yarning over, pulling the tail through the 2 loops on your hook. That is what your stitches look like. I then bring, so your front and back loop, or that full loop that's there, you're pushing that down to tighten it up. And you're doing that each time with each stitch. Yarn over, pulling through, and then pushing that stitch down to tighten it up. What you'll find is your basket might start going in the way. You just simply want to manipulate it out with your hands. With this type of cord, it will do that no problem. And do that as you go. And then you're creating these very structured and uniform looking stitches. So again, I'll do a few normal single crochet to show you. I'll show you the difference of how it looks when you're doing. So your waistcoat stitch here, you've got your V's that are going up the way. When you're doing a single crochet, you've got your V's again, but they're offset to the sides, and you're getting these holes moving up. So if you're finding there's lots of holes, then you're not doing the wrong stitch. Take it all out and try again. When you're doing your V's, when you're doing your waistcoat stitches, there are no holes appearing in it. So if you've got holes, look at your stitch. So when you're starting to run out of cord, you're going to start doing your waistcoat stitch and finish where you've got 2 loops on the hook. You're not going to complete that stitch if you've got a very small bit of yarn left. So we're going to leave that to the side just now. And you're going to grab your new skein of yarn, pull out a piece of the middle, This makes the skein you're using skinnier to hide the tail. You're then going to complete that stitch that you've started there with the new skein of yarn. So you're going to pull through a loop of the new skein and finish your stitch that way. Now with this tail that you've got, you are simply just going to yarn over that tail as you go while completing your waistcoat stitches, and the tail you've got from the previous yarn, just leave that out to the side just now. Once you've done a few stitches over it, I like to pull that tail tight, and you're going to yarn over for about 6 or 7 stitches. Until it's completely hidden. With your tail from your previous yarn that you've got there, you're going to go through the waistcoat stitch where you changed your yarns over. So in order to do that, you're going to know where your tail is there. So put your hook through, yarn over that tail and bring it through to the outside, through the waistcoat stitch that would have completed with that if you hadn't stopped there. And then if you look on the inside, you're not going to notice where that was. With your tail you've got there now, you're going to cut that a little bit shorter, and again pull out the middle part. You are then going to weave the tail back and forth through the stitches. So as you've pulled it out through the middle of that waistcoat stitch, in between those two waistcoat stitches you're going to pull it to the other side and pull it tight through. Then you're going to go to your next waistcoat stitch, go through that and pull the tail through to the outside again. Go in between those two stitches and pull to the inside of the basket. I'm going to do that once more. So go through your waistcoat stitch, pull it to the outside, and then pull it to the inside of the basket. After you've done that a few times, you can see it getting weaved in there. I'm going to cut that tail once it's covered about 3 previous waistcoat stitches. When you get to your next row, you're simply just going to waistcoat stitch over that tail that's going that way, and then it won't be visible, and neither will those winding in parts of the tail. They're going to get covered up. And that's it. That is how you seamlessly change skein. So I'm just going to show you how to finish off your basket if you just wanted to do waistcoat stitches all around. So once you've got to the ends part of your basket, you're going to cut off a small tail and pull that stitch through. You're then going to get your crochet hook and again go from back to front with through your front and back loop and pull through your tail. You're then going to go up and under your third loop, which is the loop under front, back, third loop. So you're going to go under your third loop and your back loop, yarn over and pull from front to back that tail. And as you can see, that is giving you the same look all the way around. You're then going to cut off again the middle part of this. and just weave in your ends like before.